Welcome to my Sitecore Diaries, your ultimate guide to digital experience excellence, your go-to channel for all the things in Sitecore and .NET. Today, we are doing a video in the series Sitecore JSS, and we are going to see today how the Sitecore MVC developers life is different than a Sitecore headless developer. So basically a difference between the Sitecore MVC and headless while doing a development. I'm your host, Jitendra Ghanekar. I'm an Sitecore Technology MVP 2024. I've given all my social media accounts handle on the screen. You can follow me. If you have any question, you can mail me on my Gmail ID. Today, we are having my colleague with me. So he is also going to help us to explain the difference between Sitecore MVC and headless. So over to you, Nikhil.
Hi, I'm Nikhil, and I'm a certified Sitecore developer with expertise in Sitecore headless development. I'll be helping you guys today with the headless development.
Okay, thank you, Nikhil. So what we are going to see in this video. So we are going to see how the MVC, Sitecore MVC, basically a .NET is different than a Sitecore headless technology, so development framework. How it is different in the content management, how it is different in the deployment point of view. What are the different technologies used for MVC and the headless? What is the rendering approach? And then we will see how the website itself is a different, the physical website it is a different. So before starting to the actual content of this video, let me request you, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and click on a notification bell to get a latest update. If you are liking these videos, please click on a like button and upload the video. Let YouTube know that you are liking the video, and also do provide your feedback via the comments. And do share this video and this video series with your friends and colleagues. So let's start our topic for today. So let's see how the Sitecore MVC and Sitecore JS is different. The first thing is the development framework. So if you talk about the Sitecore MVC follows a traditional server-side rendering approach where templates, layouts, and views are tightly integrated within the ASP.NET MVC framework. So basically, there will be a tight coupling between the code and the Sitecore. So template, layouts, and views are tightly integrated within the ASP.NET MVC framework. Nikhil, how it is in JSS?
Yes, Sitecore JSS promote a more flexible and modern front-end development approach using JavaScript frameworks, which focus more on component-based architecture. So basically, our JavaScript application stays independent of our Sitecore. It just consumes the data and it follows component-based architecture. So the JavaScript apps are component-based. So everything that is rendered on a page are defined in different components. It's like this. So they are independent of each other.
Okay.
Over to you.
Maybe content management, Nikhil, you can explain first.
Yeah. So in JSS, GraphQL was introduced, and we can query content, which enhance our flexibility and efficiency in front-end development. Whereas in CM, you can explain the MVC.
Okay. There is nothing like GraphQL and any query technology in the Sitecore content MVC. So leverage Sitecore content management capabilities without using a query technologies like GraphQL. And when we talk about the deployment, the Sitecore MVC websites are typically deployed on traditional web servers. So it is a normal .NET deployment. So whatever a .NET developers do a deployment, like we can deploy the DLLs, view files, CSS. So it's a traditional way of deploying a package on the web server. Nikhil, how it is differ in the Sitecore? JSS?
So in Sitecore JSS, we particularly require two servers, one to host our Sitecore instance and one to host our front-end application. So those are two independent, and the front-end application just fetch the data from the Sitecore web server. So it's like this.
We'll move to the next topic, that is the technology used. So everyone know what is used in Sitecore MVC. It is ASP.NET MVC. Razor is used, C Sharp is used, Sitecore APIs are used. So these are the technologies, or these are the competencies which you should be aware while working on the Sitecore MVC. Now, Nikhil, what is there in JSS?
Yeah, so typically in JSS, the JavaScript frameworks are used, React, Angular, Vue, and apart from this, we have ASP.NET Core also. That is the front-end application. And from the Sitecore side, we required Sitecore layout service or GraphQL to fetch the content. And if you are using that JavaScript frameworks, we will require this Node.js to run those at runtime.
Okay. Okay, so it is completely different technologies in the JSS and MVC.
Yes.
Then we have a rendering approach. MVC is always a server-side rendering, how it is in JSS.
So in JSS, we can either choose from client-side rendering or server-side rendering, and it differ on the JavaScript framework we choose. So it's like this.
Okay. Now, the folder structure, how the physically the Sitecore MVC website and Sitecore JSS websites are different. So let's see first of all the MVC. So if you have seen the Sitecore MVC website, it's a standard .NET website where you will have a app underscore config file, that is for the configuration file to specific to the site code. Then you have a bin file where you put to all your compiled assemblies, whatever required for your application. So those component, those features, DLL, project DLLs, all those DLLs will come in bin. Then you have a layout. So you are using MVC layout. So MVC layout, master pages, view files, all those will come in layouts. Then you have a Sitecore folder, which is core for the Sitecore. So core Sitecore item, modules and configuration. Then we have a views, which is used for Razor view files to store. Then models. So it contains a C Sharp class representing the data model. We have a controllers where we have a MVC controller, then script and contain. So these are the normal .NET website structure, which you will get in the Sitecore MVC. So how it is in JSS, Nikhil?
Yeah. So in JSS, the Sitecore part remains the same. We have app config for configurations, we have bin, we have layout, and we have Sitecore for all. But the change make is we don't require layout in from Sitecore side because layout is defined in your front-end application, whichever you choose. So if we are talking about React, the front-end applications have different folders. Majorly, we have that a source folder, then we have a components. In that folder, we have a structure where we define all those assets, styles, pages, services, layouts, and all those there. So the
Okay.
basic
This
approach,
sorry, Nikhil. This
yeah,
SRC folder might change depending on your technology, like whatever how it is built in the React Vue and the any other JS framework. Depending on that, this might change, right?
yeah, this might change, but most probably Angular, Vue, and Next.js all have the same structure. Yeah. Yeah, so in our front-end application, we have scripts also. Scripts when you run your front-end application, so those some scripts run on Node, and those scripts are defined on the entry level of your application, front-end application. So package.json and site.json and all those stuff. So they are on the folder itself, and we required these files to connect to Sitecore instance and to run the application in different modes.
Okay, so JSS is completely different physical structure for compared to the MVC. I think it will be better that if we will show this to the uh, viewers, right? So we can show the how the Sitecore MVC website looks like, and then we can show the how the Sitecore JSS looks like. What do you think,
Yeah,
Nikhil?
sure. Sure, it's a good idea to show the people. Let's
Okay,
start.
oh, fine. So we'll go for a demo.
Sure. You can share your screen and we'll go for the demo.
Yes. All right. I am in the website folder. So when you install a Sitecore website, you get this structure, right? So this is your Sitecore website. For Sitecore MVC, this is the website folder only. Okay, where you have a app underscore config, which is related to Sitecore. You have a bin folders. We talked about the views folder in the last slide also. So this is where you actually deploy your application also in the Sitecore MVC. So it is tightly bind. So within this Sitecore website folder only you are deploying your application. Our focus today is how it is in the JSS. So maybe Nikhil can explain that better. So over to you, Nikhil.
Yeah, so the Sitecore part is same. The app config and the bins are same. The different part is view. So our view is defined in the front end application. So if we choose technologies like React, Angular, or Vue, so we have integrated more in that framework. So what we do in integrated mode, we can create a disk folder and deploy the build of our front end application into that folder. That's how the view is rendered because Sitecore have that a rendering pipeline for the with these three apps primarily. Like this, we do in Sitecore headless integrated mode.
I have shared the Sitecore CMS website, Nikhil.
Yeah, so as we can see, we have a headless tenant, then we have a headless site folder, and then we have our JavaScript application. So this MSD headless demo, it's our headless site. So we have used SXA in this, and using SXA, when you create a headless site, all these home, media, data, dictionary, and all those stuff is automatically created. The dictionary is a service, same as layout service. It is a REST API to be consumed from our front-end application. So as we can see, this is the same structure. We just define our application, and in home, if you can show the render, in home we have put our JSON rendering, so you can show the rendering that we have put in the presentation. Yeah, so we can see it's our first rendering. It's a JSON rendering, and we have put our headless layout. We have used JSON main placeholder in this, and the layout is headless layout. Headless layout is empty. Yeah, so this headless layout, it is an empty layout. So as previously told, we define our layout in front-end application. Any view, any layout, anything that is our CSS and all those things are defined in a front-end application. So from Sitecore side, we are just delivering the content. So this layout is empty. We have put our JSON rendering, and that's it. From Sitecore side, you can just yeah, you can show it. This is the rendering, and we are using our home item as the data source. So now I guess we should move to our next.js application to
Okay.
show the pure headless app. As you can see, this is our Next.js application, which is created from Sitecore SDK. The Sitecore provides some SDKs for Next.js, React, Angular, Vue, different applications. So when we create our Next.js application or any front-end application, we create it using Sitecore SDKs, not from the original one. So Sitecore has taken the original one, made some changes to work with Sitecore, and then we can use it. So you can see the structure. So we have a Sitecore structure. In this, we have a config to be deployed on this Sitecore. You can show the config in Sitecore folder, in config folder. Yeah, so we have these two configs. These two configs should be deployed to Sitecore, and they are used for one is used for our to define our JavaScript app, and the other one is used for deployment of different kind of stuff to Sitecore. Now we can go back. Yes. So we have a source folder. So the main folder is source, and here we define all of our components. As we have previously told that the front-end application follow component-based architecture. So as a component-based architecture, we define different components. You can see we have defined first component. Yeah, so this will be our first component that we have defined. And one thing to note, the component name in the front-end application should be same as the component name in the Sitecore. And the component is rendering in Sitecore. So rendering name should be same as the component name. So I guess we can show the live site now.
Just for our viewers, that this is just we are giving the high level idea about the Sitecore JSS or Sitecore headless websites. So in future videos, we are going to uh, do actual practically we are going to create a website. We will be showing all the steps. So those will be in the next uh, videos. So if till now if you are not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on notification bell so that whenever we will be uploading those videos, you will get the notification. This video is just an introduction that how the JSS is different than the MVC.
So guys, you can see this first component is created and the all structure is untouched. So you get all the predefined structures same. I have just created this first component in the folder. So I guess Jitendra, we can open this folder in PowerShell and then run that JSS start connected command to run the application in connected mode. So we can go to the folder structure next.js and then copy the path. To start our website, so we have to start our JavaScript application. So copy the path till your JavaScript application, primary Next.js in this video. And we have to move to that folder in PowerShell and then start that command, JSS start connected. It will connect our application to Sitecore instance and then it will take the content and render it on the page. So we can see that in PowerShell, we have moved to the our Next.js application. So we can now type JSS start colon connected to start our application. Yes. So as we can see, our JSS application is started. It is registering the components that we have built in our JSS app. Within the, we can see registering JSS component, first component. So all the component that you will make inside that component folder, it will be registered in this and it will be shown in the starting. Then we can see that it is started and it is given the domain localhost 3004. You can just copy this to a particular browser and the site will be rendered.
Okay. Yes. So we can see
Yeah.
the site.
Yes. So this content is coming from Sitecore. Our home item had these two fields, title and description field. So the image and the title is coming from Sitecore and it is getting rendered through layout service.
Okay, so main difference if you see here is the site is completely uh, separate from our site code. So if you see here localhost 300 3000 where we are browsing it, so basically it can have a different domain itself. But if you see our normal website, the Sitecore website, the domain is what we are using for the Sitecore itself. Okay, and then the site is getting rendered. So this is one of the key difference that you can have your application hosted separately altogether,
Yeah,
right?
so it is completely headless.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. This is just a start of the this video series. We will have Nikhil in other videos also, next upcoming videos also, where we will do a complete creation of a site for JSS website by using the next.js and maybe React also we will try. So, all right. So we have done the demo for this. A simple overview of how the site for JSS website looks like. We are done for today. Nikhil, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you, Jitendra, for this awesome video. And I would request my all of our guys to follow us and subscribe us and share this video for getting more knowledge on these site code topics and all those web development topics. And one more thing, we'll create more of JSS videos and we'll see the full site in React or different technologies, and we'll see the limitations also. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos, and that's it. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Yes, we are going to do more such videos. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and click on a notification bell to get a latest update. And do click on a like button and upvote this video. Let YouTube know that you are liking this video, and provide your comment via the comment section. Provide your feedback and let me know how this series is going, and is there any improvement, then please also please let us know. We will do those also. We will include those, your comments also. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.